Voters keep saying over and over again, we are not comfortable with this level of immigration. I understand why. It doesn't make you a racist to say that. And yet, the liberal parts of, certainly in America, Alex Padilla said last week, he is our senator here, by reviving Trump's asylum ban, Biden has undermined American values. And then they all stand back and go, we don't want to be called a racist, so we will not make a move on immigration.
Everyone's roasting the left for their collapsing sanctuary city experiments. And now Maher has officially joined the firestorm. He says the entire idea was doomed from the start, and he even warned the DNC early on. They ignored him, and that arrogance has now detonated into one of the worst migrant crises in modern history. Maher's done holding back. Buckle up, this take is going to burn.
It's again the same principle as I was saying before about like the reverse of what liberalism really is. Liberalism is, for the sake of humanity and compassion, can we get these people off the streets? And woke is, how dare you ask them to move? This is their home.
They have rights.
No, it's not. There's easily a better solution to this. Instead, they put them in hotels? That's your answer, hotels? Could everybody just stop the posturing?
Maher draws a sharp line between what he calls real liberalism and the fringe version dominating today's discourse. To him, true compassion isn't about turning sidewalks into semi-permanent shelters. It's about getting people off the streets and into real treatment. He argues that genuine liberalism tackles the root causes of homelessness: mental illness, addiction, chronic unemployment, not glamorizing tent encampments as some kind of alternative lifestyle. Maher blasts activists who insist the homeless should be left wherever they camp, calling it negligence disguised as virtue. Real progress, he says, isn't pretending suffering doesn't exist. It's ending that suffering with dignity, structure, and actual solutions.
Don't pretend that you love migrants so much, and then when we send them to you, you don't like them. You know? You're full of and we can see that. Yeah, you like them when it wasn't your problem because you're not a border state. And then when they show up in Chicago and New York, you're like, what are we going to do with these people?
Yeah.
He's not wrong. We've watched blue states far from the border, New York, Illinois, Massachusetts, shout the loudest for open borders when it costs them nothing. But the moment buses actually arrived, those same states hit the panic button. New York's shelters overflowed, Chicago cracked under the weight, Massachusetts declared a full-blown emergency, and suddenly their limitless compassion evaporated. They love to preach empathy in front of cameras, but when migrants show up in their own neighborhoods, they rush to push them out or beg Washington for help. Turns out open borders are easy to demand when the burden falls on someone else's doorstep.
Eventually, this was going to come to a neighborhood near you. Having someone embedded is a good start. That came from the Secretary of Homeland Security. We want to thank him. But I've been very clear on what we need. We need to control the border. We need to call a state of emergency, and we need to properly fund this national crisis.
Take Eric Adams, once a proud champion of sanctuary city policies and open borders. But now, faced with a crisis he helped invite, he's doing a complete 180. Shelters are maxed out, budgets are collapsing, and citizens are fed up. Suddenly, Adams is calling for stronger border control, a far cry from his earlier "everyone is welcome" slogan. But what about leaders like LA's Karen Bass or California's Gavin Newsom? Will they ever admit the open border agenda was a catastrophic miscalculation? Not a chance. They'll keep defending the illusion of compassion while their cities buckle under the very policies they once celebrated.
Alex Padilla said last week, he is our senator here, by reviving Trump's asylum ban, Biden has undermined American values. And then they all stand back and go, we don't want to be called a racist, so we will not make a move on immigration. It's going to get them at Election Day. It's happening in Europe right now. That proves it in Europe, and it's going to happen here in America.
And that's the real issue. Many Democrats privately recognize that open borders are stretching America's resources to a breaking point. Rising crime, overloaded services, and major cities drowning in costs they can't sustain. But publicly, they stay silent. Why? Because telling the truth comes with consequences. Anyone who questions the narrative gets attacked by the fringe left, labeled xenophobic, cruel, or disloyal. So they prioritize political safety over national stability. Leadership replaced by fear. Honesty replaced by self-preservation. And the crisis keeps spiraling because courage has become politically inconvenient.
It's going to get them at election day. It's happening in Europe right now. That proves it in Europe, and it's going to happen here in America.
There's a real moral reason that we should let people into this country who are suffering
At any number?
No, I mean,
But that's their point. But 64% of Latinos support giving the president authority to shut down the U.S. borders. 62% of registered voters would deport all migrants living in the U.S. illegally.
hate immigrants.
Listen,
They don't hate immigrants.
Here's the twist Maher highlights. Even immigrants themselves oppose open borders. The very people the left claims to be protecting actually support stronger enforcement. They understand the chaos that comes from lawless migration. Many came legally, followed the rules, and built their lives the right way. They've seen firsthand what happens when a system has no structure. Many fled countries ruined by corruption, violence, and border collapse. So when they warn America about what happens when lawlessness takes over, ignoring them isn't progressive. It's reckless. If immigrants are demanding tighter borders, maybe it's time Democratic leaders start listening.
What do you New Yorkers think of how Mayor Eric Adams and Governor Kathy Hochul?
Yes, you pronounced it right.
I take it you're a big fan. Have handled the city's migrant crisis. I saw today they're offering any of these migrants, this sounds like a game show, a plane trip to anywhere in the world. There's policy, you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here.
And then we get to the desperation phase. Eric Adams and Kathy Hochul tried offering migrants free plane tickets to literally anywhere else. It sounded clever on paper. Move them out, relieve the pressure. But almost no one took the offer. Migrants didn't risk everything to bounce around randomly. They came to America, specifically to its biggest cities. So the plan fell flat, exposing how short-sighted the whole sanctuary city strategy really was. The same Democrats who bragged about welcoming everyone are now quietly running from their own policies, hoping no one notices their hypocrisy.
But didn't some of these places sort of deserve it? I'll ask you this. By saying we're a sanctuary city, like how these terrible racist border states were, and then when they called their bluff and sent the migrants to them, they were like, suddenly they weren't quite so liberal. They're what I call liberal in theory people. A lot of people are liberal in theory, and when the migrants arrived, they were like, what the
Call it what it is, pure double standards. Liberals have mastered the art of saying whatever sounds good when the spotlight is on. Compassion, inclusion, equality, applause-ready slogans. But when those same policies blow up, the silence is deafening. They distance themselves, deny responsibility, and pretend they never supported the ideas they once shouted from rooftops. It's political theater. Perform empathy when convenient. Abandon accountability when reality hits. Real leadership means standing by your convictions even when things get messy. But for too many on the left today, optics matter more than outcomes, and the fallout is becoming impossible to hide.
Part of this is a backlash to how badly Biden handled the immigration situation. It can't just be like come one, come all, which
Dude,
it was.
There's plenty of room here, and we need
Room.
There's plenty of room in America. Come on, there's not a lack of room in America.
But it's never about room, it's about resources and about like having countries have to have a border. It just can't be, I mean, they've done surveys and something like 200 million people around the world when asked, would you come to America if you could? Yes, I would. Why wouldn't they? Lots of countries, are holes.
Right.
And they would love to be here. You can't
I'm not right. No, right. The places aren't holes, but
Well, they are. That's why they want to come.
And it's usually because of America, what America's done.
Maher nails it. The issue isn't space, it's resources. America is powerful, but not limitless. You can't invite the world in when housing, schools, healthcare, and infrastructure are already overwhelmed. Compassion without capacity isn't compassion. It's national self-destruction masquerading as kindness. Maher argues migrants should pour that same determination into fixing their home countries, fighting corruption, demanding reform, building something better. America cannot fix the world by absorbing it. Saying no isn't cruelty. It's necessary for survival. A nation without boundaries cannot thrive.
Immigrants don't like it that the left seems to have this unrelenting negativity toward the country that these immigrants worked so hard to get here.
Good point.
They really worked hard to get here. And when Trump says, "Oh," I think a lot of them are going, "Yeah, you're right, it's a hole where I came from. Why do you think I got on the ocean on a raft or walked 1,000 miles because I was living in paradise?" There are places that are in this world, and the immigrants know.
Maher's blunt, but he's right about this. Millions come to America because it's better than where they came from. But welcoming everyone without screening, documentation, or accountability doesn't make the country more compassionate. It makes it vulnerable. Uncontrolled immigration isn't kindness. It's chaos. And if America loses the stability, law, and structure that make it worth coming to, then everyone loses. Sanctuary cities are collapsing under their own hypocrisy. Blue states are backtracking. Even immigrants are calling for tougher borders. Yet the far left pretends nothing's wrong. Open borders don't save people, they endanger them. Real liberalism requires solutions, not slogans. Until Democrats accept that a nation without control isn't a nation, the crisis will only deepen. America's heart is big, but its resources are not infinite. And with that, we wrap up today's video. If you enjoyed it, hit the like button and subscribe for more content just like this.